Hi guys, Mikhail here for another device deal video. Today we're going to be looking at routers again, and this time another Netgear brand of the Nighthawk series in the Wi-Fi 6 range. So we're going to be looking at a few different models. They've got quite a few between far and wide, so we're looking at the entry level from RAX10 all the way up to RAX200. So there's quite a few different models depending on your needs, so anything that might look like either too cheap for you or too expensive for you, there's going to be something for everyone. So I think they've really made a good versatile range in the Nighthawk series, and we'll explain a little bit more further on in the video. Let's go. Okay, so now we're going to show you what's inside. So honestly, between all the models, it's pretty much going to be the same thing that comes inside. So we're not going to open all of them for you. Today we're just going to open up the RAX120 just to show you one, and you can get an idea. It's all pretty much the same between them. So move that away. So first thing you'll find is a start guide. Just kind of shows you how to install the app and get it set up, which is really easy. It'll tell you the contents that's inside on the back. You'll also get a kind of a warranty card, again, very stock standard. You get the device itself in plastic, an Ethernet cable so you can link it up to your modem, and the power adapter. That's about it. All right, so we're going to take a look at some of the common features between all these devices. Now, obviously, as you can assume, you're going from entry level to higher end. There'll be some differences, mainly things like speed and range and stuff like that. But to start off with, we're just going to look at the common themes that they've all got between them. So first things first, Wi-Fi 6 is definitely the biggest selling point of these. It's the future-proof technology. The beauty of it is that it's backwards compatible as well. So if you're using older devices, you don't have to worry about, if this is going to work. It's still going to work with your devices. And I mean, the beauty of Wi-Fi 6 is that it's 70% faster than Wi-Fi 5, and it's got 4 times the capacity. So meaning less kind of lag and buffer times between when you're using it on the network. Another really good part about Wi-Fi 6 is that it's really made to handle that kind of high traffic and high volume of devices on there at the same time. So, it's been used in things like football stadiums or shopping centers or public transport, really made to handle that kind of vast majority of large number of devices connected at the same time. So it's really important because you might think to yourself, I might not have that many devices right now, but it's kind of good to think about how you're going to operate in the future. So for example, if you may or may not notice, everything's becoming a smart device. You've got smart fridges, smart lights that you can operate from your phone, your smart garage controller. Everything's become some kind of smart device that goes on the Wi-Fi network. Now, as those add up, they're going to chew up the bandwidth. And so if you're using an older router that's got like Wi-Fi 5, you'll find that there'll be some struggles and lags and things just won't kind of run as smoothly as possible. But that's where the Wi-Fi 6 comes in. It'll make sure that you've got everything running nice and smoothly, ensure that everything's got the correct amount of bandwidth that's required, and you get so much control as well, because that's another handy feature of the Netgear is the control you get through the app. So speaking of the app and the control that you can get from it, it's a really, really handy feature that the Nighthawk series has, because not only can it help you configure your router as well, but it also helps you in the long term, because you can, monitor the Wi-Fi settings and the usage of it as well. You can even set up guest networks for people that are coming over, or if you, like having in a holiday house or something like that. On top of that, you also can actually use the device almost like a NAS. So what you can do with these is, I'll quickly show you. You've got USB ports on the back, and you can actually plug in a storage device like like an external hard drive, something like that. And what it allows you to do is then access the files on that through your devices. So rather than have to change the USB into different computers, different phones, whatever, you'll actually be able to access it all through the networking of it, which will be kind of based through the Nighthawk series. So really, really handy feature, and it really emphasizes the control and convenience of all this has. In the past, you can do all those things I just mentioned before, but it gets a bit clunky. You got to do it through a web portal, and it just becomes a bit harder to monitor. Doing it all through an app on your phone just makes it that, again, extra convenience and portability to all your settings. So another really important feature that covers all these devices is, from a security aspect, is this kind of piece of software/firmware called Netgear Armor. It's exclusive to the Nighthawk and Orbi series routers, so not just for these ones we're looking at today, but also the Orbis that we've looked at previously. It's a really just handy kind of firmware software that's kind of built into the router, which helps with, cybersecurity stuff like your phishing emails and ransomware, anything that's kind of cyber related. We're living in a world where everyone's getting hacked non-stop, and so if you're really trying to get a device that's going to protect you now and in the future without having to worry about getting too many additional security measures, like this is something that can cover you all from the get-go. Do keep in mind that this service is kind of paid for monthly after the first. I think you get a free trial, and after that there is some fees involved, so just keep that in mind. But it's really, really much worth the hassle, and definitely kind of get your bang and get your money's worth. Another cool thing about this is that it's also VPN compatible. So if you want to be able to change, your server location, which people use a lot for security, but also if you want to kind of watch Netflix or other kind of streaming services from other countries. I'm sure you've probably heard before, but Netflix in America or the United Kingdom or anywhere else will have different listings to what we've got here. So if you've got a VPN, you can change your IP location and then watch all the content from all over the globe. So we're going to compare a few of the models now, and to start off with, we're going to look at the entry-level models, which is the RAX10 and RAX20. I'll be honest, they're actually very, very similar. Firstly, they'll come at a pretty reasonable price point, so definitely not something that's going to kind of eat at your hip pocket. They're also suitable for about 20 devices, so still get a good amount on top of them. Suitable for like a 2 to 3 bedroom home, something that's like kind of small to medium-ish size, and they're both RAX1800 or AX1800, which just means that the Wi-Fi speed that they're capable of is actually exactly the same. It's they've got 2 bands, they're both dual bands, so you've got one band that can give you 600 megabits and the other is 1200. They've both got 5 gigabit ports, to have your wired connections. The only kind of significant difference between these two is that the first one here has another antenna, and that also the RAX10 does not have the USB port. So what I mentioned previously about using these kind of as almost like a NAS device, the RAX10 is the only one that doesn't have that feature. So we're going to look at the RAX70 and RAX80 models now. These are probably suited for that kind of mid to high end level performance. And if you're looking for they're ideal for if you're looking for gigabit speeds. They're definitely in that kind of higher end. They're not kind of mid-level they're not too high end, but they're definitely a really, really big upstep from the ones we were just looking at before. So one of the main differences between these two is that the RX70 actually has a tri-band system versus a dual band. Now you might be wondering, what actually does that mean? Well, essentially all it means is to think of it like adding an extra lane on a freeway. It improves congestion, increases speed, and you can reduce slowdowns. So just to think of it as that, additional lane that just kind of diverts traffic smoother. So again, just helps with the efficiency of your Wi-Fi speeds altogether. When you're looking at these two, they say they can go roughly between 30 to 40 devices. So, that can help you cover not only just your standard mobiles and TVs and stuff, but it can cover obviously your smart devices like lights and anything else in between as well. Again, suited for that kind of medium-sized home, around 3 to 4 bedrooms. And the AX ratings are similar, but the RX70 does have that little bit better speed. So I think they say this is kind of like 5.5 times better. This is 5 times better than the standard speed. So we're going to take a look now at the top end Nighthawk series. We've got the RAX120 and the RAX200. Now, even though these are both kind of considered in that high level performance, there actually still is quite a significant difference between them in certain aspects. So first of all, we've got the same thing as the previous two, where we've got the 200 with the tri-band series and this one with the dual band, which I've mentioned before, the benefits of that. You've also got almost twice the theoretical max speed difference. So we've got an AX rating of 11,000 on this one versus roughly AX 6,000 on this one. So when you're talking about that theoretical max speed, I mean, a lot of the times it's probably not even going to be available in some Australian places, or, for most people, depending on what kind of speed rating you're paying for, it's probably going to be overkill. But again, it's talking about that future proofing that I talked about earlier. There's something that you might not need now, but it's something you might need in a few years. So rather than having to replace these routers every couple of years, something at a high end like this means you're going to be pretty well covered for a pretty good long term. So it's really positive to go for. When we're looking at the amount of devices, you can cover RX200 there can comfortably reach with 50 devices, and again about 30 devices for this one over here. again, suitable for kind of those medium to larger homes, particularly this one. This one they recommend you can go between 5 and 6 homes, so definitely something on that. If you're someone that's definitely got a larger scale house, and I guess you don't want to have a lot of like different range extenders in different parts of the house, this is something that will definitely cover you range-wise, as well as this, but this is more between 4 to 5 bedrooms. So by far the most range will be in the big bad boy over here. Oh yeah, one more thing I actually forgot to mention. Across all these devices, they can actually operate under a number of different simultaneous streams. So what you might be finding now if you're only on a Wi-Fi 5 or something a bit older is that if somebody's streaming 4K Netflix in the one room and someone's trying to play games in another, and then a third person's trying to watch Netflix as well, you're going to find a lot of difficulty there. Someone's going to lag, or someone's going to cut out, or just not be efficient altogether. Well, with these, you've got multiple simultaneous streams that you can have at the same time. So the entry-level ones we looked at can have 4 streams at the same time. The middle ones we're looking at have 8 streams, and then the big ones here, 12 streams at the same time. So this means you can have 12 people at the same time watching high-quality 4K videos or gaming or anything of the sort without any difficulty. So again, a really, really important feature in a day where you've got a lot of people in a house sharing data at the same time. So one final one I wanted to really briefly go over is the RAX20. Now, the one thing that this has over the other ones, and why I've kind of done this a little separately, is just because this has got actually a 4G failover capability. So this is for people if you're worried about the NBN in your area and it drops out a lot, or if you're someone that doesn't even have any NBN connected at all and you still want to have Wi-Fi in your house without going through those like little dongle things, this is the way to go. You can chuck a SIM card in here and then get connection, suitable all over the house, and it gives you a lot more range. Like something I've found with those pocket ones, which the SIM cards usually use, they might be okay for speed sometimes, but you've got no range on them. So something like this gives you both the speed aspect and the range aspect. Now, I won't talk about this one too much because we've actually done a review, an unboxing video on this one before. So take a look at the link in our description if you want to find out more about the RAX20. So to conclude, the new RAX series Nighthawk routers from Netgear is again a really big step up innovatively from the previous models. It's 10 times better than anything they've ever made before. So really, really high quality stuff. You've got a really solid integration with the app that gives you so much control that you've never been able to have with a Netgear product before. You've also got the multiple streaming service, which I mentioned. So in this day when there's always so many people trying to stream 4K Netflix at the same time, now you can finally do that with ease and no interruptions with most of these devices here. And I guess it's just a really solid all-round product. Like, I really rate this. It's got a nice aesthetic to it as well. There's a lot of control, really good security measures on top of that. It's just a good all-round product. And because they've got so many to choose from, you've got something for every person. So it's not something that you feel shut out. They've really made it inclusive, where you've got some entry-level models and then some higher-end models. Get you something to move into. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. And I've got some questions for you. Is there anything that you guys have at your home Wi-Fi network that you've got issues with? Maybe we can help. If you've got any questions about anything we've gone over today as well, be sure to leave a like and a comment in the description, and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. So again, guys, my name's Mikhail from Device Deal. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.